And we're live. Welcome to. I can't do it. Can't do it. but we are live. Welcome back to the Lonely Marks podcast. Twice in 1 week. There used to be a time when we didn't do this twice in a month. So we're learning. I'm joined as always by Jordan Owens and Richie Nemo Goodacre.
Oh, we don't get separate intros?
No.
We're equal, okay? Tag team.
No, you betrayed me before this match even started, Richie. I don't trust you.
I'm sorry. What's more Christian side of movies? Watch Cuffs.
Okay, first of all, they didn't even ask for about a cuffs question. No hot tub time machine 2, choosy doozy. They didn't ask about any another good ones. True romance. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know.
Well, anywho, I am the other host of the Lonely Marks, JPO, and then Richie somehow keeps getting invited back. How you doing, Richie?
You good? I'm here. Third. I don't know. I think third host is redundant, but I'm here. And yeah, just talk about wrestling. That sport called wrestling.
Wrestling. I'm doing good too, guys. Thanks for asking.
How you doing? How you doing, Jacob?
It doesn't matter.
Jacob
now.
just celebrated his 47th birthday. How was your birthday,
Yeah.
Jacob?
It was
you don't look a day over 44, man.
well, it was my 32nd birthday, and my birthday was.
For real though, are you 32?
I am 32.
You're old as shit. I'm 32 in a couple months.
I was about to say,
I'm 32.
but
for now, you're old to me.
And as far as how my birthday went, it was uneventful because I spent all of it inside this apartment. But outside, it was very eventful because we had snow, we had sunshine, and we had like rain and hail all at the same time, like all on the same day in April, which never happens. So it makes me think that the end times are near. So, if you have any loose ends that you need to tie up, you might want to do it now. That way your soul is right before the end of the world.
Richie,
it's the only logical explanation. And Jordan's gone.
You all right, Dad?
All right, so we're gonna start a GoFundMe for Jordan to get a new computer because this is just ridiculous. I mean, come on. I hope or he's just messing with us, and this is like his new background, and he can hear everything we're saying.
Hey, Jordan, we get it. April Fools was a couple weeks ago. You're a bit late. There we go. Hello. What happened?
So hey, if you're ever on a laptop that the charger's iffy, make sure you're plugged in.
Okay.
Did you just go out? Is that what happened?
Oh yeah, my laptop just shut off. It doesn't warn me. You know, like most laptops would warn you, hey, you're down to 10%, 20%.
Right.
Mine just goes, hey, you're down to and then it dies before you even have a chance
down
to grab it.
You're down for the 3 count.
Let me get my dicks back in my background. Hold on. Come
on. This is a PG-13 show.
3 count and PG. Well, 3 count and PG-13 or name of tag teams.
I'm having problems with my Johnsons right now, but we can continue.
I got no tag team fun. Anyway.
I like being half dark. It makes me feel mysterious.
Ray or Dominic?
The good one.
So Dominic. Oh, okay, that's weird.
All right, Richie, this was fun while it lasted. But, let's talk tag teams. I thought it was appropriate since the best we just discussed WrestleMania, and I think some of the best matches at WrestleMania were the tag team matches. Personally, I think they were all pretty solid. But there was another tag team match.
Whoa!
except for that one. There was another tag team match.
That 4-way women's tag team
That was
championship
the
match.
one. I was Sheamus and Ridge
New
Holland
Day and
versus
Sheamus and
New
Rich
Day.
Holland. Mm.
Yeah,
But,
which got a quarter of a star from Dave Meltzer, by the way.
I can give that a quarter.
That's generous.
Yeah. I'll talk about that match in my rankings pretty soon.
Okay.
Wait, what?
You'll see.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyways, let's before we get into anything, let's talk about what was possibly one of the greatest tag team matches ever. Or at least that's what I hear because I didn't actually watch it. And there's no full match available anywhere, and I didn't want to pay $30 for the show because I can't afford it right now because I'm broke and poor. I'm a lonely Mark who buys other things. Anyway, that's not important. That's weird. Stop. I just had a whole dirty joke come in, but I'm gonna try to keep it clean. Jordan.
What Jacob's trying to say is let's talk Briscoes versus FTR from Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor. A nicely built up match. We had the tease back in December at Final Battle. FTR coming out face to face. Not knowing when it's gonna happen. I didn't know, at the time, obviously we didn't even know if Ring of Honor was going to continue. So is this something we're going to see on Dynamite? Was this going to be a GCW show? Now, some people like me thought maybe this is going to be the surprise of the GCW pay-per-view. It wasn't a good surprise. But we finally got it here at Supercard of Honor, given the right amount of time. Good show. This was easily match of the night. And not saying that the other matches were bad, just saying how good this one is. It lived up to the hype. If not, somehow surpassed the hype, man. These are two of the best teams going. Their styles kind of made sense. Not totally always the same. Briscoe's more of a smash mouth, hard hitting style. FTR a little more technical, but they gelled super well here. I would love to see a rematch down the line. But yeah, this is something to check out here. And who knows, maybe that next big Tony Khan announcement will be some sort of streaming service, and you can see it, even you cheap lonely Mark like you, Jacob.
Yeah, I did see that he's teased. Tony Khan seems to tease a big announcement like every 2 weeks now.
He loves it. He loves big announcements, and he certainly loves let's turn the lights out for a debut, even if you don't know who the fuck the guy is.
Well, it's turn the time guy. That's another story. Yeah, turn the lights out for a guy that no one knows. That's what a great use of that.
Yeah, just debut the guy. The lights thing doesn't need to be a thing every time. And now it's part of Malachi's entrance too, which is also funny. Like even when there's not a debut, they just do it for Malachi.
I mean, he likes lights out so much that he's called named a match after it.
Yeah, and I guess it doesn't count on the records, which I also find stupid and very loopholey. But
yeah, it's like Orange Cassidy technically beat Adam Cole, but Adam Cole still was undefeated.
Yeah, like they don't. It's like stop. If you're gonna do records, at least like honor them. Don't have weird loopholes like that.
Yeah.
But as far as this match goes, did you happen to see this, Richie?
Yes, I did. And this match was awesome. I haven't really because I hadn't watched Ring of Honor. It's not as readily available here, so I had to go back and watch some stuff. But yeah, I haven't watched as much Briscoes as maybe like you guys have. But yeah, I was immediately a fan. This was amazing. Just a great match in a great on just a stellar card. Great sort of I think Tony Khan called it a transitional sort of pay-per-view between the old era and the sort of new era that's coming up. Maybe Tony Khan's announcement is that ROH got a TV deal. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought of that too. That'd be pretty cool if he was like, "Hey, you guys like Ring of Honor? Cool, because Catch It Saturdays on TBS or we're on FX TV. Or." I don't think that might not be it, but yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, like this, like
True TV.
Yeah, after Impractical Jokers.
Yeah, I love. By the way, I wanted to mention it back when it happened, but it's not that far. It was a transitional pay-per-view where all the AEW guys won. Cabana defeated Blake Christian. AQA defeated Miranda Alizé. Swerve defeated Alex Zane. Cage over Mac, Lethal over Moriarty, Martinez over Nightingale, FTR over Briscoes, Suzuki over Titus, Wheeler over Woods. Yeah, so every match where there wasn't a signed AEW guy was, or where there was a signed AEW guy, always went there.
Yeah. No, it was interesting. And then I want to know if I call it like this match of the year. That's I mean no, different match of the year, but like not like best match ever. Like it's kind of I haven't really sat down and thought about it, but it is really stellar match that will hold up for years. But yeah, no, like it was on a good card with they did the Jonathan Gresham and Bandito was really great too. So, but yeah, so it just passed that, which is very impressive. I also don't mean going on a tangent here, but I don't know what they're doing with the ROH title because like they just randomly announced with no build that at Battle of the Belts that Jonathan Gresham's defending against Dalton Castle. I mean, that seems to be a big thing that you should just not just casually mention. Anyway,
Yeah, I was gonna mention that. Yeah, if we had time, like, yeah, Dalton Castle going for the title. All right, I mean it's a debut for both of them technically. Neither man has set foot in AEW at all yet, so that's gonna be an interesting one Saturday. Castle had the win over, I think it was with Joe Hendry back at the show.
Yeah. But do you find it weird that they just sort of just randomly got Excalibur? Oh, by the way, this is happening. Like, okay, that seems like a really big match. You probably should have hyped up a bit more. But I feel like that whole show, Battle of the Belts, was just kind of an afterthought, really.
Like last time it kind of was, and also too, I will say, man, hey, sometimes a lot of stuff kind of doesn't get maybe the hype you could say it deserves. Even think about this week, Joe and Suzuki for the TV title. Sounds like something that could have been built to a little bit more, but it just was announced a couple days earlier, and then we had it, and it was great, and so they do that a lot. Like they are like, oh, by the way, CM Punk's fighting Pentagon in the opener. Like, yeah, a lot of big shit happens. They don't necessarily always hype it. I don't know if I hate that, but yeah, I do definitely see what you mean. Yeah, this is a match where it's like, oh, what? Oh, that's different. Dalton Castle randomly. Okay, cool.
Like I assume that like maybe Dalton Castle maybe appear at AEW at some point, but this sort of might be a surprise. Like, oh my god, Dalton Castle's here. But no, it's just like, okay. He's here.
Oh, you want? Oh, so I get it, Richard. You wanted him to put the lights out and then debut Dalton Castle.
If it was what it sounds like. Dalton Castle, at least that would get somewhat of a pop.
No, but I mean, I also understand not overly like hyping a debut. You know what I mean, too. Like if they don't have plans to necessarily use him much more than something like this at the moment.
Yeah, if it's just a one. Okay, I don't expect him to win, so it was just like a paper appearance thing, like it's a one.
I'm just mad when I debuted on Dynamite with Moxley, and then lights did not go out for me. I was like, "Come on, Tony."
Yeah, but you don't need the lights to go out because that just means that your debut was different from everyone else's.
Thank you. I love it. Good logic.
They're like, this guy's going to be special. We need the fans to see him immediately.
It looks like if you believe it, like I don't know if it's going to. It looks like maybe Briscoes will probably be making a home on Impact for a while. They're going to be the Impact tapings soon. So I'm not sure if they're signing or they're just doing a few dates, but yeah, that's interesting.
We'll see. Ring of Honor is another good example, or I'm sorry, Impact in this case is a good example of it's hard to know right away. You know what I mean? Like they'll do people sometimes just for a taping or two. You know what I mean? Whether it's New Japan or whether it's an indie guy, like so, it's not necessarily a sign, although it could definitely be happening. Like it's hard to pinpoint. It's one of those like you just got to wait and see because they definitely do that where they're like, oh, this guy will be around for a taping or two, and then you don't see him again for a while.
Well, yeah, one of the more random ones. It probably hasn't happened yet, so it's spoilers. But like, little Guido shows up to answer.
I think at this point it might have, but yeah, no, I mean, Guido, Big Con recently from the Ascension. That was pretty random. Like, no, they definitely do stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, tag teams, no.
Yeah. So just gut reaction. Where would you guys say like this tag team match falls for you as far as tag team matches go? Like when you think about it, where would you place this? Is it like an S tier tag team match, A tier tag team match? What do you guys think?
Oh, we're doing 2-ranker.
Well, I mean, or you could go top 5, top 10, whatever.
No. I'd have to. I'm a
feel
firm
like
believer in I want to sit on it a little bit longer and see where you know what I mean, see a rewatch, you know what I mean? Because I'm a firm believer in sometimes you ride that high too much and you go, that's the greatest
yeah.
ever, and then you watch it again 6 months, a year later and go, that's pretty good, but maybe I was a little high at the time. You know what I mean? That
Mhm.
freshness sometimes helps. So I'd sit on
Yeah.
it. I definitely would say right now I'd put it in S tier. I think it's that good. This was something that had been talked about a little bit. If you know who the Briscoes are, this has been talked about. So yeah, I'd say S tier. I'd say it's definitely something to, you know, it's a big price point. If it was a little bit cheaper than 40, I'd say plop that money down, do it right now. You know what I mean? But like, you know, at the time I would have definitely said go for it. So it's a really good one, man.
Yeah, I'm sort of in the same wavelength there. I yeah, like at the moment I'd say S, but yeah, it was very it was kind of maybe recency bias because like you know it just happened a couple weeks ago, so I would have to sit on it. But yeah, at the moment it's S. I feel like we have to do we have to talk about tier ranker a bit because we're on Jordan Anderson's channel, so I mean it just comes with the territory. Uh, uh, but yeah, no, like it's a really good match. But yeah, it's hard to know whether it would be like any better than like TLC 2 or anything like that. So like it's kind of yeah, maybe in a couple of years I might have a better idea of where it would land, but it'd definitely be high wherever it is. It'd be like it wouldn't go down below an A.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I watched the highlights and because they have highlights videos all over YouTube about the match and definitely made me want to watch the whole thing because the spots that I saw were really good. I like the show of respect between the two teams at the end, um, which is always nice to see after you guys put on a banger. Show some
Yeah, and I'm
respect. Yeah,
pretty
I
sure
mean,
it was like an FC. I think that was almost maybe FTR's babyface turn because they've been babyface ever since then. So yeah. Mhm.
yeah. Even though like they're still part of the pinnacle, like, but are they?
Yeah, I don't know where that's still either. I feel like the Pinnacle had more potential, but they just kind of, you know, went a different direction very quickly.
Oh, you mean the Pinnacle, like the signed turnbuckle pad with Wardlow, MJF, Dax, and Catch's signatures live on my eBay store. This will be yours today.
Would have been worth worth a lot more if they stuck around more than a couple of months.
Hey, Richie, you're not helping the sales, you son of a bitch.
But also buy from Jordan.
It's a classic piece of memorabilia. They'll never produce things like this again.
It's an antique now.
Yeah, worth you giving me money for it.
Oh, I'm not going to give you money for that
Jacob, shut up.
because I don't want to rob somebody else of having it.
There you go. There you go. Live in store at Ben Affleck.
I'm sure there'll be another Pinnacle around sometime, so that might just be relevant. Tony Khan does a lot of has a lot of factions, so MJF could align himself with another tag team and start doing anything. What about the Hybrid 2? Where the hell are they? Go do that.
Well, he's got Blade fighting Wardlow, so you guys the Butcher and the Blade now because they're homeless.
Yeah, Butcher, yeah. I mean, like, I understood, but I think the minute when I saw that, I told my friend, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's intimidating. Have Wardlow versus a guy who never wins. But anyway, but that's just.
On Dark, he's undefeated or whatever. Probably.
Okay.
I don't know that. I'm just saying they do that a lot. Where on Dynamite, he hasn't won a match forever, but then they're like, "But he's 29-4," and it's like, "What? Oh yeah, that's right."
Yeah, like Scorpio Sky had this, but apparently it's like year long, like undefeated streak, and I didn't see it. I've not seen it. Apparently he's just been crushing it, and yeah, but I don't know.
I think I looked it up, maybe even on the show. Wait, did MJF put me on hold? Oh, I got it off of High Spots. I wasn't there personally. It would have been nice. I would like to meet MJF. I feel like we'd be kindred spirits, and he would love me.
Screw you, Jordan. No, screw you, MJF.
I don't know if he'd actually admit that he would love you, though. I don't think he.
No, but we would know. Like it would exactly like Jacob would say. He'd say screw you, I'd say screw you, but there'd be a twinkle in his eye.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go anywhere alone with him then.
That sounds weird.
What? What? Are you trying to talk to your TV?
Yeah, I just want to make sure because isn't Rampage on a different time tomorrow?
Yeah, it's on at like 7.
I just want to make sure my DVR's got it recorded right.
Yeah, and then Battle of the Belts on Saturday.
I'm gonna make sure. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So, obviously, we are talking tag teams. So, I thought it would be fun if we discussed our top 5 tag teams, both currently and of all time. And so I think we'll just, I think we can just go in the round table and just go back and forth.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make Jordan multitask and go to TNT and talk at the same time.
No, I'm
Yeah,
good.
I think-
I'm ready. I'm ready whenever you are.
So I think let's go.
He's on YouTube looking at top tag teams, so he forgot to do it.
He didn't make a list, so he's like, all right, Google top 5 all time. So what do you think? Should we kick off with the all time or the current ones?
I think
I say all time, and then
Say all
skip
time.
current after.
All right, so I'm gonna preface this by saying, yes, I have a lot of post 2000s tag teams because I wanted
say
to
it too.
choose.
I'll say that too.
Yeah, like I don't think. Unfortunately, if you're an old school fan, I don't think you're gonna love any of our lists.
Right.
But I'm a
it's
'90s
like
kid, so sue me.
If like,
I had to pick.
Yeah, sorry. If Austin's watching, just they're probably not gonna be any like I don't know, brain busters or anything like that. But
I did not have Battle of the Belts recorded. Thank God I checked.
Yeah. Sorry, the Rock and Roll Express will not be making my list, unfortunately.
Yeah, much love and respect.
Although I guess you could call them a current tag team.
You could.
I mean, yeah, they are. They like I said, they wrestled WrestleCon weekend in that crazy 10-man tag. They got future bookings, so yeah.
I feel like there's a few tag teams that could cross over, but yeah, you could. Yeah, there's still a few tag teams out that could cross over to an old time and still working.
Yeah, I thought about it, but I think one of mine is still currently working, or two of them are still currently working on my all time list. So, Jordan, let's kick it off with you. What's your number 5 all time?
All right, so we're going number 5 here. I'm gonna ask everyone to, if you want, bring out your cameras. We're gonna do a 5-second pose here for you. I'm gonna go with ENC. Little guy named Edge, little guy named Christian here. I've said on another show on this channel here. I love those classic TLC matches. They still hold up. WrestleMania 1. I just thought Edge and Christian was a perfect example of piecing these two guys together. They have that wonderful story of actually knowing each other growing up, so it's a really kind of wonderful backstory. And the matches they put on, the entertainment they've provided here, I am definitely someone that looks at the overall scope of who's also just super entertaining, and that's the epitome of these two here. From the outside of just fantastic matches, the kazoos, the poses, the backstage skits with Angle, it all just works here, man. A full-fledged tag team here. Only bad part of Christian going to AEW was, man, they teased that reunion at the Rumble, and I was all for it. Sad that we may never get another Edge and Christian match by the time they're both ready to wrap it up. Maybe they can squeeze one in, maybe, possibly, but regardless, love me some ENC.
Does Edge and Christian make your list, Richie?
It just missed it, unfortunately. I do love I do love Edge and Christian. Obviously I grew up with it's like the big three: Edge and Christian, Hardys, and Dudleys. And they're an integral part of it. I think I was just more on the Hardy Dudley side, but I did love. I have grown to appreciate as well, going back and just that, particularly their heel work, and then there's just how and just how great they are playing sort of goofy characters. They're just endlessly entertaining. Remember, I don't know why this always sticks out. I think there's a Fully Loaded 2000 when they're trying to get out of a match with APA, and they kept trying to they kept kind of like, oh, we're sick, and then there's and Christian supposedly throwing up in the bathroom, and Mick Foley climbs over the. And then he's like, he's just pouring soup into the toilet. That was great. That was great. But yeah, like no, they're endlessly entertaining, and yeah, great wrestlers in their own right. Here's a hot take. I think Christian is a better wrestler than Edge. Yeah.
That is a hot take.
But yeah.
I don't know if it's a hot take, but
It's a hot take.
I don't know. But Edge and Christian did make my list. They were number 3 on my list actually. So I had just a little higher. For all the reasons you guys said. But like, yeah, just endlessly entertaining. The kazoos, the 5-second poses. They were funny. But their in-ring work was really good, and just they put on solid matches that are still, to this day, entertaining, and like they hold up, and there's still some of the moments that are talked about when you talk about WrestleMania or you talk about ladder matches. You bring up Edge and Christian. So yeah, number 3 on my list. So Richie, what is your number 5?
My number 5, like I mean, we said our list will probably hover around the 2000s and stuff. This is the only one that doesn't. But just because I did a lot of them like going back and watching them, but newly minted WWE Hall of Famers, the Steiners. The number 5 was the Steiners. The Steiners are like this tag team's awesome. I just and it's just you just know you wouldn't. I don't know. There's some. They just have this understated charisma, and then they just worked really well as a tag team, and they you know not to fuck with them. They'll kick they'll kick your ass. It's just like their matches, their hard hitting matches with people with tag teams like Faces of Fear, like Barbarian and Ming. It's just so it's so great, and yeah, I just really like their style. I think they complement each other really well, and yeah, and I thought their speech of the Hall of Fame was pretty good. And yeah, I think Rick Steiner has always been, will always sort of go down as being a bit underrated because Scott kind of, went up there because he's got this, unhinged charisma. But they're both really good. And yeah, so Steiners.
What are your thoughts on the Steiners, Jordan?
Yeah, no, great tag team here. I think I said on that show that I think if they were having a run today, they would still be just as good with the hard hitting matches here. Some innovative stuff from Scott. A good blend of big dudes that could just move very well here. Do some interesting stuff here. Nice little dynamic between Scott and Rick. Yeah, really good tag team, man. Worthy of the Hall of Fame. I'm glad. They were able to trust Crazy Scott to get him in there because it was one of those ones where, just because of some of his the things that he said, it was up for debate as to whether he'd ever get in just based on that. But worthy, absolutely. So yeah, good one.
Yeah, can't fault the Steiners making a best of list. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I can name any match of theirs because I really can't. I just know that if you put a match on for me, I'm gonna watch it because I do remember them being really good and a great tag team. But again, I was a 90s baby, born in the year 1990. So if it's happened before the year 99, I'm not going to remember. I'm just not. I'm sorry. So a tag team I do remember because unfortunately they got squashed at WrestleMania. My number 5 is the New Day. I love the New Day. And the fact that they are still together 8 years after they formed in a time period when WWE likes to break up tag teams a year after they form them just says a lot about how over they got with the fans. So again, another endlessly entertaining tag team. In the ring, out of the ring, heel, face. The group did it all. It doesn't matter what combination is in the ring during the tag team match, whether it's Woods and Kingston and Big E and Woods. My favorite would probably be Big E and Kofi. I think I like those two the best. I always thought Woods should have got a singles title run with maybe the US or the IC, but that's a discussion for another time. As a team, they're great.
He'll be a
They're
world
there.
champion. He'll be a world champion one day, and then Brock will end that reign too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate him as champion, but please, no, don't do it, Brock.
No, they'll do the free word rule where they're all WWE champions, and then Brock
Ooh,
will
I don't,
beat them,
I don't hate that Brock beats all of them.
and then Brock beats all of them in a handicap match.
Yeah, just bury the New Day. No, you can't bury the New Day. It's a shame they got squashed at WrestleMania, but yeah, no, the countless matches that are just outstanding. My favorite would probably be the Hell in a Cell match with the Usos. I think that match was fantastic. Yeah, so the New Day, number 5.
If we're jumping ahead a little bit, they're on my list as well. I love me some New Day. They were my number 4 actually, so I was going to talk about them. My next go around here. Yeah, I love the New Day. You kind of touched upon all the major points here, man. Nice longevity between the group. They're still together to this day. Knock on wood, Big E can able to join them here at some time. Yeah, man. It's entertainment again, almost like ENC. The entertainment is there. The match quality is there. Like it's great stuff, man. New Day from first almost being like, okay, are they going to be angry heels like a Nation Domination? Oh, they're angry preachers. This might not work. We're booing them. Then making that work out for almost their own benefit in a way, and then having this great babyface run. And like you even mentioned that Hell in a Cell match. I think of that match as well. So yeah, New Day. They do indeed rock.
Yeah, New Day missed my list, but I think what makes New Day great is just because as you sort of touched upon, like when they tried to make them like sort of heel preachers, so it didn't really work. Crowd were booing it wasn't catching on. But I think as they lent into their actual personalities, and then they were given the freedom to just kind of be who they are and then show this great chemistry and show that the kind of they are sort of similar in the vein of Edge and Christian where they're just really good at being goofballs and like I got and I think Xavier got himself over because he lent into this like sort of nerdy side of things like Biggie and Biggie's kind of the fun lovable big guy. I think once they lent in their personalities, it just kind of even when they were heel, they're just too entertaining to kind of boo. And yeah, they're proven to be like in an era where tag team wrestling, especially in WWE, is not focused on really well, and or maybe kind of forgotten about that. They've sort of been able to hold their head above the pack, and they're amazing. They're definitely one of the few like modern tag teams that you could definitely see being a Hall of Famers one day. It's a good pick, but it just missed my list.
All right. So Jordan, that was your number 4, you said?
You guys are.
All right. Well, I guess we'll just skip on back to Richie then for his number 4.
All right. Fair enough. I have a feeling that this tag team's on one of people's list because I just know you. Number 4 to me, and again, it could be in either list. Number 4 to me is the Motor City Machine Guns. I think they're fantastic. I think they got such great similar styles that just complement each other. They're great chemistry, and then in an era like they came up in an era where like tag team wrestling in TNA was really solid, but they just stood out even if they were not necessarily like tagging together, but they just happened to be in a match like an Ultimate X match as individuals. They still like you'd watch their kind of chemistry in the ring, and the fact they're still going today and still going at a high level. They recently had a great match with Jay White and Chris Bay, so they're still going at a high level, and I think they're amazing. So Motor City Machine Guns.
Oh, they made my list. if you remember back to the tournament fights, though, they were my pick to win the whole thing. Unfortunately, they got knocked out by Edge and Christian, which I wasn't mad about. I mean, obviously, the Edge and Christian are my number 3, so I like them nearly as much. But yeah, just everything you just said, Richie, about the Motor City Machine Guns. I'm just gonna echo. I think they're fantastic. I particularly remember their match with Team 3D. I believe it was what was it? It was a turning point in 2010 when Chris Sabin became only the second person ever to kick out of the 3D. Which of course then led to Team 3D breaking up, Bubba turning heel, and but that's a discussion for another time as well. Yeah, no, the Motor City Machine Guns, everything you said, I'll echo again. Just great tag team. I like their styles. I think their tag team moves are crisp and clean. Another match I really like was them against the Young Bucks when they were called Generation Me in a Ultimate X match. That's another really solid match. And yeah, they're still going today, and they're still as good as they were, during probably their peak run in TNA. They're just as good now. I'm glad they're still going because I think they're one of the best, and I think they don't get talked about enough as being one of the best tag teams, at least in my opinion.
I've got a kind of a side announcement I feel like we got to talk about. Okay, speaking of tag teams, I just saw in the graphic, Dalton Castle is bringing back the original boys. Brandon and Brent Tate will be the boys this Saturday. Who's excited? I know I am.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I thought initially, like, there was rumors maybe a year or two ago that those guys did a rebound, but I'm glad I'm glad for us it didn't work out because they're in AEW, and yeah, that's kind of cool.
Oh, I'm just saying, yeah, it looks like this is obviously something, this is interesting because lately it's been a while since they've been with him. Sometimes he would use, local guys, but they were with him for a while, broke off. I know they were in OVW for a while as well, OVW Tag Team Champions. So yeah, I'm excited. I like that the original boys are back.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And yeah. I mean, do you remember the weird days of the Dark Order where they tried to steal that gimmick? They had the throne. Evil Uno had the throne with like all these other. Yeah. Anyway, but I'm looking. I'm looking forward to that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, a good aside.
Do you get that excited about the Motor City Machine Guns, Jordan?
Oh yeah, machine guns. Yes. No argument here. I do love them myself. I was a big Alex Shelley fan from day one. I remember seeing him early on in TNA as Baby Bear, along with Goldilocks and Abyss. Look that up. But they gelled really well here. Put on some fantastic matches here, and still to this day, they're back together again in TNA doing some tag stuff as well. So it shows you the fact that the fans really dig these two together, that they still kind of reunite even now. And so, Motion Machine Guns, a lot of fun, really good tag team. I'm glad we made sure they were on the list for the last show and whatnot. So,
me too. And they were this close to getting through to the Elite Eight. They were this close, but Richie couldn't do it.
Who did they lose to?
Edge and Christian.
Oh well, yeah. Come on.
Well, who were they up against?
Edge and Christian.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah. You see my conundrum. I couldn't do it.
I mean,
just couldn't do it. Yeah.
Whatever. Speaking of the Motor City Machine Guns, a dream match of mine that will never happen, but I think will be great if we're booking fantasy tag team matches, is the Machine Guns versus my number 4 of London and Kendrick. I loved this team. Even they don't have the longevity as some of the other teams that made my list, but man, were they entertaining in my opinion. They were like my peak teenage years where I was really enjoying wrestling. And I just enjoyed that they were like different from other tag teams. They were these two cruiserweights, like smaller guys. And they had a pretty lengthy title run. And they had entertaining matches. I mean, I think we're always going to go back to that ladder match though, with London and Kendrick against the Hardys. Right? Was the Hardys? Was the
It
yeah?
was,
Okay. All right, it was the Hardys, and then Miz and or not Miz. Wow, Mercury and Nitro and Dave Taylor and William Regal. Side note: I love that Dave Taylor was scared to climb. Like that whole ladder spot where they were like hesitant to climb the ladder was great. I don't think William Regal gets enough credit as like he can be funny when he wants to. Like go back, there's an AEW clip on now that they just uploaded.
Was it the Danhausen thing?
With Danhausen, and Danhausen curses him, and his reaction to that is hilarious. If you have not seen it, go watch it. It's a good like almost 17-minute clip, but like with the Blackpool Combat Club, and it's like after Dynamite. They bring out the hometown guy and just send the crowd home happy. And it was great. William Regal was great. But London and Kendrick, two cruiserweights, put together as a tag team, and I just enjoyed their run. So that's why they're number 4 on my list.
Yeah. You go, John. You want to go first? You go first.
I love London Kendrick. I feel like that's a bit of a nostalgia pick because I think, unfortunately, they were
Definitely.
never the forefront of the idea of the booking here, but they were tremendously talented. I was a big fan of both of them. Shawn Michaels' kids to a degree as well. I remember watching them in Ring of Honor and hoping they get a shot. And this was kind of maybe the juiciest stuff they were able to get. So yeah, great tag team that I think could have gone even farther if they had actually really kind of backed them and gave them more pay-per-view appearances and like tougher competition on a regular basis. But absolutely two tremendously talented guys here that were a lot of fun to watch. And like you said, did create something different too. You know what I mean? Which is important. They were something a little different on the show compared to some of the all the other roster members.
Yeah, I think it. Yeah, I remember being surprised back then that they got such a lengthy run because up until the point before they were a tag team, they're just treated as just being kind of there. I mean, like Paul London. I'm pretty sure Paul London's debut was on SmackDown with getting squashed by Brock Lesnar. That was his debut. So I wasn't, but like after that, I was kind of like not like I didn't have like high hopes for their future. But like this was a good run. It's a great run, and like yeah, that tag that ladder match is great. And then also like people forget like they also had a brief run with I think Ashley Mazzaro as their manager. I thought that kind of worked worked pretty well at the time. R.I.P. Ashley. But yeah, like no, they're a great tag team, and then yeah, I think like when you think of tag teams in the Ruthless Aggression era, like that they come top because yeah, they made the most out of their push. It's just a shame that it wasn't as I feel like if they were able to have a longer like juicier run, more people would be talking about them in this sort of high regard. But yeah, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah. So that's my number 4. Jordan, what's your number 3?
Okay, I had to look. Yes, my number 3 as a tag team that we have already talked about today, but I still feel they definitely belong in the all-time discussion as well. Them boys, Jay and Mark Briscoe, two guys that have been killing it almost since day one in Ring of Honor. The only reason Mark Briscoe wasn't on that first Ring of Honor show was because he was just actually too young. He was 17, and Ring of Honor was trying to play by the rules. Not every indie would, but they were kind of trying to play by the rules. So Mark Briscoe was actually only able to manage. But I think by August, Mark was on the roster in 2002 along with Jay. And man, throughout the years, these guys have just put on some tremendous matches. They can do it solo as well. Jay, a former champion, and I remember Wheeler Yuta's blood reminded me of actually Jay's blood. It was like gloppy blood when he fought Samoa Joe in a cage match. But together, man, tremendous matches with Steen and Generico. Recently, as obviously you just saw, FTR. So many matches throughout the years in Ring of Honor from almost every decade. The only time they were gone, I think, was a brief period, about a year, like in 03 to 04. Otherwise, they've been around that entire time here, 20 years, killing it. We even recently in GCW, grabbing those tag titles a couple times. They just fought the good. I mean, if you look at WrestleCon, not WrestleCon, but WrestleMania weekend, they fought. They were at the GCW show, Spring Break. They were at the WrestleCon show itself, fighting Low Key and Homicide. They were at the TNA show, fighting the Good Brothers. Like, and again, this is literally the Good Brothers match. I would say was a couple hours after the FTR match. Like, how crazy is that? So, I think they're tremendous. They're the kind of guys that if they are signing with Impact, good for them. You know what I mean? It'd be interesting maybe see them under a different umbrella because they have been kind of Ring of Honor exclusive for so long. But there's a reason that the fact that they actually stayed relevant that entire time is also kind of kudos for them, because sometimes when you're in one league, it gets stale, but they found a way for it never got stale. I saw live one of their matches against Rollins and Jacobs was great. They brawl right in front of me. Yeah, Briscoes coming on my list.
Richie?
It's a solid choice. I like I said, I haven't seen much. I hadn't got a chance to see much of the Briscoes, but when I did watch the match at FTR, I was like, I don't know what I feel like I should have been doing my homework for this long time. I should have been watching more Briscoe matches, and that should have been my wrestling viewing. But yeah, I didn't. But yeah, they're fantastic. I was an instant fan, and yeah, I think that they just got they got this like solid charisma as well, and like they're I think and especially I think to sort of an environment like ROH and they were able to be as successful as they were. So I don't know if that gimmick would. I mean, their sort of gimmick and their personality would sort of gel well with the WWE kind of style. So it's a credit to them that they were able to sort of just be themselves and get over as much as they did. And yeah, if they decide to go to Impact, I'm looking forward to that. The idea of Machine Guns versus Briscoes is very salivating. Jay White and Chris Bay versus Briscoe. Like there's a lot of combinations there, so I'm looking forward to their future. But yeah, I love the Briscoes. But yeah, just because I haven't seen as much of them, they didn't make my list. But it was a solid choice.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Richie. I just haven't seen as much of them. Always seen highlights. Always heard good things about their matches, but just haven't checked them out personally. Jordan, if you had to recommend one Briscoes tag team match to the casual fan to like, this is what they're about, what match would you recommend?
Well, I don't know if you ever heard of this, but they did have a match with FTR recently.
Is that the match you would recommend?
It's pretty good.
Okay.
I'd have to give it some thought, man. Honestly, like I know, again, maybe I'm coming off the high for that, but yeah, that does come to mind as something I would throw out there. Another one that they had tremendous matches with is and this shouldn't be surprising when you hear the names. Chris Hero and Claudio Castagnoli, they had some great matches with them. So yeah, I'd look up. Yeah, I'd say if you want to see something look up that, or maybe a Kevin Steen Generico match. But yeah, I might go Hero and Castagnoli on the top of my head. If I'm not just going with the easy answer, which is FTR.
Yeah. Wow, solid choice. Solid number 3. Richie, what's your number 3?
All right. Yeah, sticking with the 90s, 2000s, my era. You can't have a best tag news without mentioning these guys. They're very influential. I'm going to go with the Hardy Boys. I think the Hardy Boys are fantastic. They were revolutionary at their time, just doing their style. And yeah, I would recommend people I think their breakout match was I think it was No Mercy '99. They had a ladder match and the winner got a bunch of money and also Terry Reynolds services, and then they called it I think it was Terry Invitational Tournament because it meant tit, because Vince Russo was booking at the time and he's a child. But yeah, that match still holds up. It's just fantastic. And then you would look forward to every, especially every ladder match that these guys do, see what crazy stuff they'd go to. But yeah, and just really good wrestlers in their own right. Jeff Hardy, obviously, I don't know if that crazy style, but when he Vince won the WWE Championship. That was still a really great moment. He had a really good feud to CM Punk before he left the first time, second time I think. I think Matt Hardy is one of the most creative guys in wrestling. I think like he probably goes like Chris Jericho than Matt Hardy. Just like the fact that he can reinvent himself and like like and he's just so he makes it like everything he kind of puts his head into is just so entertaining. That broken universe was so great. It's one of the highlights of TNA at the time, which was TNA at the time wasn't really that great, so it stood out. But yeah, the Hardy Boys are legends, and yeah, I think they deserve Hall of Fame induction individually as well because of what they've done. But yeah, they're definitely they're one of the best tag teams of all time. So yeah, Hardys.
Yeah, solid tag team. Just missed my list. I think of those three, the Dudleys, Hardys, and Edge and Christian. Edge and Christian was my favorite, but just slightly. I mean, all three had different styles, but yeah, the Hardys, high flying, risk taken, just great tag team. I might like their singles runs more than their tag team runs personally, but it's I'm nitpicking at that point. They've just had great careers all around, but yeah, definitely can see why they'd make a best of tag teams list for sure. Jordan,
you got any?
I'm not a big fan personally of the Hardys because I'm a huge fan of the Hardys. I love the Hardys. I had a tough time picking my number one. I'd say they're my number one actually. I'll go ahead and spoil it now. I just right there, those three major tag teams that I mentioned of the late '90s, early 2000s, they hold a special place in my heart. Of just really, at a time where people say they were the tag team division here, man, and their matches speak for themselves here. The matches with ENC, even later on, they had a nice little run right before they went to WWE again, where they were collecting tag titles all over the place, with Impact and Ring of Honor, putting in matches with the Young Bucks still, and even to this day, being there when Jeff Hardy returned, dancing his way before he saved his brother because he's got to dance first, and
You always bring that up.
So, I just because it's so true. It's like your brother's in peril. Kind of like, not it's like I'll get to you, Matt. Give me a minute. And but yeah,
such
man,
a brother thing to do, though.
Yeah. You can hold off Andrade and his goons for another. I gotta get my entrance in. But yeah, I love the Hardys, man. So yeah, I'll go there. I was also there when they returned at Mania. Another really fun match with the Good Brothers, and I think it's Enzo and Cass. So that was a great moment. One of the loudest pops I think I legit heard in my wrestling existence was their pop in that Mania return. And the night before, they were fighting Pentagon and Phoenix at another show I had saw. You know what I mean? So give it up for the Hardys.
Yeah. Yeah, and we already talked about my number three. My number three was Edge and Christian. So Jordan, we'll jump back to you for your number two.
Well, I mean, it shouldn't be too much of a surprise if you were a detective. I had Edge and Christian. I had the Hardys. Let's go with the Dudleys, man.
Oh.
Why not? Let's talk the Dudleys here. Great ECW run where they were able to run rampant, man. Watch those early Bubba Ray Dudleys back when it was spelled B-U-H, Bubba. And he was just able to rip into those crowds uncensored. Don't let your kids watch these or your grandma watch these promos, but watch them if you're of age. The reason why the WWF took them because they were so over. And they're both really good in the ring too, man. Like I don't know, people ever forget that sometimes, but like even in TNA, like Devon had a really good like TV title run. Bubba Ray became like a world title champion at one point. So, but together they were great coming into TNA, Team 3D. I would see some of them their early matches in TNA. Even Richie kind of mentioned before. It's still able to hang with some of the younger crowds, whether it would be like a Beer Money or a Motor City Machine Gun, still putting in that work. and then that big WWE return, they were kind of put on the back burner in that return. Sadly, kind of right away, they never had like another big title run, but they were still very good in the ring here, and they had another nice indie run after that. Before it seemed like Devon was ready to hang it up, but I just say the Dudleys have a very good place in the wrestling world, so Dudleys were my number 2.
Richie, the Dudleys just miss your list. Make your list.
No. Well, I'll show my hand now. It was my number 1, so I'll bring it up. Dudley Boys. I can't really bring up more than.
I almost went with them as 1. At one point, I think I had them as 1, and then I switched it.
Yeah, like there's not much more to say really. The most decorated tag team in history. Like you just knew like if Dudley Boys were coming to the promotion, like they're probably going to win the tag titles, and they're a good. It's a good booking decision because they're just really good, really great wrestlers and right, and just great chemistry. And then they people still chant like as soon as there's like a no disqualification match that the crowd will immediately chant "We want tables." It's just their influence coming through, and like they're so charismatic, and even as I think as singles guys are kind of underrated. Like Bully Ray had a really fantastic, he's one of the highlights of of TNA for a while there, where his world title run, his heel run, he was really good, and he didn't feel out of place as champion, and Devon had a very underrated run as I think it was TV champion, or it was like Legends champion, and then it was turned into TV type champion. But he was really good. He just really good. And even though it wasn't a great gimmick, I thought Devon made the most out of his Reverend gimmick. I thought it was like I thought he was entertaining, even though
whatever happened to his Deacon? That guy ever become anything?
Oh yeah, I've heard of him. I don't know. Like I saw a guy that looks like him in Guardians of the Galaxy, but it could be a doppelganger or something. But
his name was Dave, not Deacon.
Different guy. Duh.
So going off that, but Batista did a movie with I think it has Drake Bell in it. It's called L.A. Slasher. Anyway, look that up.
I can't find it. I want to watch it, not because of Drake. He can kill himself. But I want to watch it.
Whoa! Well, we do not condone suicide here.
Okay, true. But like, look up some of the shit Drake did. That's why I responded so harshly. But yes, not that. But I'm just saying I don't want to watch it for Drake reasons. But I don't think it's ever been like really released, has it been?
Yeah,
I didn't know about it until just now.
I just saw it mentioned. Like I was watching something to do with Drake and Josh or something today, and then it mentioned what he was doing, and I just saw the poster. So I don't know. I thought it might have been released, but yeah. Anyway.
Okay, you can buy it for $9 or watch it for free on Vudu. So there is ways. My bad. Brooke Hogan's in it. How have I not seen this?
Okay, Brooke Hogan's in it. Wow. But yeah. Anyway. But yeah, Dudley's. Yeah, Dudley's are fantastic, and then they will. I think their legacy will live on. Like way after they're kind of done. But yeah, even just with the table spot with the I think they're the. Obviously, I haven't even mentioned they're the best. In my opinion, had the best like tag team finisher of all time. So yeah, Dudley's are amazing.
Yeah, I'll just echo all of that. They even tried to Dudleys. They even tried to break him up in what was it? It was 2002. They tried to break him up in the draft, and they reunited at Survivor Series that year, and it was a pretty big pop and a pretty good moment.
It's one of the better, like if you watch it, it's one of the better like kind of like it was like Devon got a hot tag. It was one of the better kind of like fiery kind of babyface like ass kicking moments you'll see. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So yeah, they just missed out on my list, but I can definitely see why they are on the list of all time. So Jordan, that was your number 2, right? So we're on Richie's number 2.
Yeah. So I'll show you number 1. So my number 2, it might probably feel so high, but like I just really responded to this tag team a lot. Also from TNA, beer money.
Cash.
Wheeler.
We'll talk about him later.
We'll talk about him later. Yeah. No, this is like, yeah, this is yeah, Beer Money are fantastic. I think, sometimes it's a gamble when you put like two people. I feel like that they won't do anything with either of them, so they just like paired them together, and something WWE does a lot. And sometimes depending on chemistry, it can go either way. But these guys are just endlessly entertaining. Their styles worked. They could have a great match with everybody. I love how like James Storm came, come down to the ring like sitting on a it's like a mobile cooler type thing. And it was yeah, like I just think they had amazing matches. I really can't like explain like why I love them above a lot of other tag teams, because like obviously other tag teams have more longevity, but I was just endlessly entertained by these guys every time they came out, and they had a really cool theme song. So yeah. Beer Money for the win.
I was always hoping that they'd like reunite in NXT, but James Storm was only there for a handful of matches and didn't really stick around. But so that was unfortunate. But yeah, no, solid choice. Great tag team. They're probably my third favorite tag team from TNA, behind the Dudleys and the Machine Guns. So no, I can absolutely see why they would make somebody's favorites list. But Jordan can't, because Jordan doesn't care.
What? I care.
Oh,
no,
so
man,
you're falling asleep, so I thought maybe.
No, I don't look. This is me wide awake. My eyes don't open that high. Okay, this is me trying. That's me trying to open as wide as I can. All right, so don't judge my eyes, you beady-eyed son of a bitch. So Beer Money, let's talk about it. No, I like I said, I'm a big TNA guy to a degree, especially during that era. And yeah, Beer Money was, again, like on paper, almost like, oh, this is gonna last a week. But they had chemistry. They put on the good matches. They were entertaining here. It worked, man. And yeah, I obviously never want someone to lose their job, but hey, Robert, if you get tired of jobbing, man, we'd love to have a beer money reunion. If you ever want to come back to the Indies and Impact, I'm sure Impact would be all for it too. So it'd be fun to see if they're able to do it again.
Yeah, but he's too busy with Dolph Ziggler.
Are they though? Even Dolph, I'm like, Dolph, come to the Indies, hang out with your brother. Come on.
Oh, come on. He's just coming off of a very, very good NXT title run. Come on.
Yeah, it lasted super long.
Did you really want him to join his brother if they're going to be both in the wingman?
I think he'd have more fun, at least. Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, I think we've all revealed our number one, so it's funny that our number twos are the last ones being revealed. My second favorite tag team of all time, and this might be a shock to some, might not be a shock to some. I don't know. DIY. DIY is my second favorite tag team of all time. I absolutely love those guys. I love Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa. As a team, as rivals, it didn't matter when they were on my screen. It was fantastic. So many good tag team matches. With the likes of AOP and the Revival, American Alpha, just whoever they got in the ring with, I enjoyed it. So DIY, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, my second favorite tag team of all time. And I mentioned this on the Tournament Fights. If you've not seen their first round match at the Cruiserweight Classic, go back and watch it, because yes, their NXT series of matches were great, but I think this might be their best, if I'm being honest. It was a good, crisp 15 minutes. I think it was 15 minutes of just great action. Go watch that match. And then watch any of their tag team matches, because they are all great as well.
Yeah, it's also like a good example that we don't do this very often, but it's a good example of really long-term booking, because you could tell I could tell back then, after that great match at Cruiserweight Classic, I'm like, and then Johnny Gargano got the win. I'm like, they're probably gonna set up a breakup soon. But it wasn't like a couple of years later that they actually did pull the trigger on that. But there's just like, but they did reference that. And like, that's pretty cool, long term booking that you don't normally see. But yeah, this this is like the DIY are amazing. I guess it just didn't make my list because they didn't have as much long uh activity as a team, and I feel like they're always just destined to sort of just be great singles guys. But they had great matches. Like they even the match with like AOP stands out as well because like AOP are a pretty decent tag team, but like I think DIY elevated them to that next level. But yeah, like both fantastic wrestlers in their own right. I mean, let's forget. I think that when they brought up to Raw, like for one show, like a couple of years ago, they just did, and then like they were feuding on one show, NXT, and then they were just a tag team on Raw. And it didn't actually, it didn't go anywhere. But like I do, I mean, it sucks that I thought maybe Tommaso was gonna be leaving WWE, but he's on Raw now. I was like, maybe they do a DIY reunion on the Indies or AEW, but. Might have to wait for that, but no, solid choice. DIY's great.
Sometimes you gotta do it yourself, y'all. These were two guys again, just tremendously talented on their own, and together they put on some bangers, man, and became a team to watch. Again, talking Revival, talking AOP, best matches AOP's ever had. Yeah, man. And of course their singles, their singles feud together, of course, was great. What a wonderful long story. These two were able to tell from the Cruiserweight Classic to a tag team to the aftermath. Brief little even reunion afterwards. Gargano, I've loved him since day one. I'm a big Johnny Gargano fan. And Ciampa's great. Hopefully he has more to do next week on Raw than just Ezekiel skits.
Yeah, that was that felt like a waste of him. It's like, oh no, it's Ezekiel. I'm like, that's his debut. That's his debut on Raw. He didn't have a match.
And yes, that is Ezekiel. There's a picture out there now that proves Ezekiel and Elias are not the same person. So
yeah, totally.
Hopefully we can put that to bed. Yeah, we've all revealed our number one, so why don't we just go through our lists real quick, 5 to 1. Jordan, why don't you go first?
Number 5, Edge and Christian as Edge and Christian. Number 4, Kofi Kingston, Big E Langston, and Xavier Woods, The New Day. Number 3, Jay, Mark, The Briscoe Brothers. Number 2, Bubba Ray and Devon, The Dudley Boys. And at number 1, Matt and Jeff, The Hardy Brothers.
No. All right. Number 5, the Steiner Brothers or Steiners. Number 4, Motor City Machine Guns. Number 3, the Hardy Boys. Number 2, Beer, Money. And number 1, the Dudley Boys.
And my number 5, the New Day. Number 4, London and Kendrick. Edge and Christian came in at number 3. DIY at number 2. And my number 1 of all time is the Motor City Machine Guns. And now we're going to shift gears a little bit, shifting from the all-time to the current tag teams, where maybe a couple of these teams will still be mentioned. So I want to kick this one off. My number 5 of the current tag teams. You see them quite a bit on AEW for good reason, because they are one of the best tag teams in the world right now, and that's the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks coming at my number 5. I don't think they've put on a bad match since starting AEW. I think they've put on banger after banger out of their matches with FTR. Even going back to their TNA Ren's Generation Me, their matches with the Motor City Machine Guns, as I brought up when talking about them. They're just really good in the ring, super crisp, super clean. They've had some of the best matches in AEW in their short time, but matches that will be remembered, I think, for many years to come. So the Young Bucks are my number 5 currently.
I'll go. I think you mentioned Young Bucks is a great choice. I they're actually I'll get it out of the way, and then they're my number 3. So they're fantastic. I feel like they get a bad rap sometimes. Like, oh, they're just like flippy, gymnastics sort of thing. I'm like, no, there's like if you think that, I feel like you don't really watch a Young Bucks match, because I think there is more that goes into a Young Bucks match. It's like they're great storytellers as well, and there's this great psychology to their matches, and and that they can play a heel well, can play babyface as well. I love their current heel run. Their cage match with Lucha Brothers, a couple months ago, one of the better tag matches I've ever seen. I think it's amazing. But yeah, and the fact that they've been going on for a while, and they're still at a huge top level, I think they'll go down as one of the best tag teams of all time. So yeah.
Yes, I have Max and Jeff Buck at number 4, actually. So I too will shower some praise to the Young Bucks here. Been an entertaining tag team for a while, killing it over at PWG, getting the Ring of Honor. Also, I mentioned before with Briscoes and them had some really fun matches here. And then yeah, still to this day, I really loved the cage match with Lucha Brothers. I loved even the match with FTR a few days removed from their match with the Briscoes was really good as well. So yeah, Young Bucks are tremendously talented. I don't know if they're the greatest. They really sell how great they are on commentary. I don't think they're the greatest, but they are great. Absolutely, number 4.
All right. Well, Richie, what is your number 5?
Yeah. So my number 5, you mentioned them before, is the Lucha Brothers. I think Lucha Brothers are fantastic. They're just a solid team. Like the stuff they can do, I think is like just absolutely amazing. Like I mentioned before, that their cage match with Young Bucks where they won the titles, I think it's one of the best AEW matches of all time so far. And then just they're great individually. Hopefully, Ray Phoenix come back soon, but it'll be interesting to see what character Ray Phoenix takes on, because Penta's currently Penta Oscuro doing the Penta Dark stuff. So we're interesting to see if where Ray Phoenix fits in. They're all just amazing. It's one tag team. If people are trying to get into modern wrestling, I would immediately point out look what these guys can do. I just think they're great. So yeah, Lucha Brothers.
Yeah, solid choice, Lucha Brothers. We mentioned the cage match with the Young Bucks. It was fantastic. They're one of the best tag teams going. Hopefully, we see them back as soon as we can. Don't rush it, obviously. But yeah, no, solid choice. Solid. AEW has just got a really great tag team division that it's almost to the point where maybe they have too many good teams, because how do you showcase all that talent and keep the booking strong for because you could put on a entire show of just like an entire pay-per-view of just tag team matches. That's how good their tag team division is, in my opinion. And Lucha Bros, they're towards the top of that. So yeah, solid choice.
Yeah, I like Lucha Brothers. Not on my personal list. Every once in a while, I feel like they don't mesh well with their opponents, and then sometimes they end up having match with the friggin' night. So they are tremendously talented. Put in there in the right people. They are great. So yeah, good team.
Well, if they're not your number 5, who is?
I told you, Briscoes.
Did you?
Mm-hmm. Good, did I?
You didn't.
No, you didn't. You
Oh, I
didn't.
did. I lied. All right, so
Yeah,
we mentioned
you
before some
gaslighted.
leftover from the list. I want to talk about the Briscoes again real quick. The only team that is left over from the list from before, because the New Day is not doing so hot right now. So unfortunately, they don't make the list. They could a couple months ago. They could in a couple months from now. But New Day is not on my list. So the Hardys, I think it just kind of started beginning again. So they're not on my list either, actually, even though they're number one from before. But Briscoes are on my list because they are still putting in those top tier matches still to this day. Like I said, tremendous Mania run. Very interested in seeing where they're going to go now. It's I don't know if it's their decision or what. I think it's a damn shame if Tony Khan for some reason doesn't see anything in them, because they would be great on AEW. Think about the matches they could do with the Lucha Brothers, the matches they could do with the Bucks, the matches they could do with the Ass Boys, and all the great tag teams they have. So Briscoe Brothers, whoever picks them up, they even if they maybe want to roll with GCW a bit longer, although they just lost the GCW tag titles to Bussy. I'm not cursing. That's the name of the tag team, Bussy. We'll see. But as far as still putting on great matches, they're definitely in the contention. So number 5 for me was them boys, Jay and Mark Briscoe.
Yeah, my thoughts on them haven't changed since we talked
you
about them
haven't seen the revival
so
match in the last. Come on, you had time.
I haven't seen that 30-minute match in the last however long it's been. No, I haven't.
Yeah, they're great. I don't know what else to say.
So let's move on to my number 4. My number 4 is a team I thought would definitely be broken up by now, and that's the team of RK Bro. I absolutely love RK Bro. I thought the WrestleMania match would be Riddle and Orton. I thought that seemed the logical place to go, but they're still together. They're still killing it as a team. On paper, it doesn't look like a team that would work this well, but it does. I think Randy Orton is just having like some of the most fun he's had in his career. At least he's showed that's what it seems like on screen. And Riddle's just highly entertaining. I love Riddle. Their in-ring work has been some of my favorite. I think Riddle has had some awesome RKO moments. I think he had the better RKO moment in the WrestleMania match for me personally when he RKO'd Ford off the top rope. I thought that was a fantastic spot. And then Orton got the RKO on Gable. That was also a good one. I think the RKO out of nowhere is just my favorite move in wrestling, period, right now. But RK Bro, just entertaining, and tag team I didn't expect to last this long, especially in a time when WWE likes to break tag teams up. Looking at you, Heavy Machinery.
I think again, I think it's a case of like, oh, we don't really do much with these people. They're just like put them together, and then they work. I think I think it's Randy Orton admitted in an interview that he initially found like Riddle annoying, but I think I feel like Riddle's the type of person that definitely grows on you. He's really entertaining. He's definitely one of those people that made like the sometimes like WWE version of comedy can be death for a character, but like I think he made it work and then got really over. And then they've become a solid tag team. I still expect them to break up in any second, but like I feel like they've probably kept this going because they realize what they've got here. Like they've got they realize what the chemistry they have, so they just got to keep it going for a while. But I do expect that because there was a rumor that Riddle is supposed to win the Rumble this year, and then he might actually face Randy Orton. I still feel like maybe we'll get a Mania match with Riddle and Orton, but until then, right now, like they're really solid tag team. One of the highlights of Raw, which I generally I don't exactly enjoy most weeks, but like they're always a highlight of the show. So it's a solid choice. Okay, Red's great.
Absolutely solid choice. One second, let me see where they fell on my list. They are on my list. They were number 2 on my list, man. Actually, I'm entertained by these two. I've enjoyed the story. It definitely felt like okay, they're gonna be together for a month, maybe 2 months. Randy's gonna RKO him. That's gonna be a match, not even for Mania. I mean, I think we've been thinking this is gonna happen. You know what I mean? Since last year. And it's lasted longer. I also thought, okay, now we are gonna save it for Mania. but they're together. They had an entertaining Mania match. It was the better of the 2 title matches for the tag titles here. They had a good match on Monday. And they've had good matches together. They're entertaining together. It's a weird mix that works. And I like the fact that like Randy's kind of softened up and like he's been able to be a different side of him than we've seen before. From the Predator, the Viper rather. Yeah, I've really enjoyed them, man. Yeah, so they were at my number 2.
Oh, nice. Richie, what is your number 4?
All right, sort of mentioned it before. But yeah, another tag team in WWE, and I thought you were going to bring them up when you said I'm surprised they're not broken up by now. And that's the Street Profits. I think the Street Profits are like fantastic. I think the chemistry is great. I think like Montez has the best frog splash in wrestling. Just the charisma of them. I think again that they kind of stand out in a division that doesn't get as much focus on. But yeah, I thoroughly entertained them coming down the ring. They had a really good match on Raw with the Usos this past week. Yeah, I do think they're really high on Montez, and so unfortunately, I do think they listened to break up and Montez going a singles run, which is unfortunate for Angelo Dawkins. But I do hope that's maybe further down the track than maybe we think, but because they're a solid tag team, and yeah, one of the highlights. So yeah, Street Profits.
Yeah, they just missed out on my list. I think that just speaks to how good tag team wrestling as a whole is right now. There are so many good tag teams out there. Yeah, they're highly entertaining. I expect them to be the Raw Tag Team Champions again, sooner probably rather than later. I hope they don't break them up. I think Montez Ford can be successful as a singles wrestler, but I fear that Dawkins might flounder a little bit. I think they're higher on Ford. I think he's the more athletic. It seems like the bigger personality, but like as a tag team, they just work so well. So yeah, in a time when WWE breaks up their tag teams, they shouldn't this time. Like let them be together for a long time, please.
I love the Street Profits. They were close to making my list. I'd be okay if they broke up. I think Montez is a freaking star. I'm not saying necessarily tomorrow, but like sooner or later, man, Montez needs to just be on his own, and Dawkins will be like Tucker.
Chasing for the 24/7 title.
Yeah. I think Montez Ford would be great in a Money in the Bank spot. I think he'd be great as an IC champion, and then go from there, man. The dude from day one, even on house shows before he was a Street Profit, able to see him live in Florida, you can tell this dude just embarked personality here, and seeing him slowly pick up, now the wrestling traits, best frog splash, which I think is true, like. The dude's really good. The dude's really fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, I could see it happening. Just when I say a long time, I mean a long time in WWE standards. So like
So 2 weeks.
Another year. Give him a year, please. Give him another tag team run. Make it lengthy, please.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I'd be definitely down for like a nice lengthy title run. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Jordan, we already hit your number 4, right? You had the Young Bucks at 4.
Yes, I had Matt and Jeff Young Buck.
Max and I believe it was Jeremy Buck.
I was making a Danhausen joke.
Oh, okay. I never know when you're serious or not. You play it so well. So we'll come back to my number 3. My number 3 are the current AEW tag team champions of Jungle Boy Jack Perry and Luchasaurus. This is a team that's grown on me. I expected them to win the tag team titles, and they did, and they've been fighting champions ever since, putting on just really good match after really good match. I think their triple threat from Revolution was really good. They just had a really good match with Fish and O'Reilly. I do think Fish and O'Reilly are the next AEW champions. But who knows when that'll happen? It looks like now that FTR is getting in the mix, which is interesting. Do we think FTR could hold 3 tag team titles at the same time? I don't know, but them getting involved is not a surprise at all in the AEW tag team title picture. I think it makes total sense. But we're talking about Jurassic Express. Definitely a team that's grown on me. I like the two of them together without Marco Stunt. I liked Marco Stunt as like back in the day, but like whatever he did, like it just grew old for me. I like that it's just those two now with Christian. So Jurassic Express, the current AEW Tag Team Champions, are my number 3.
Do you think Marco Stunt feels like how Jennifer Aniston felt like when Brad Pitt did a movie with Angelina Jolie? You think Marco Stunt was like, Christian, yeah, we're gonna get to work with Christian. You don't need me this week? Okay, not next week. Christian's gonna go out with him now.
Yeah, I feel like I that's a good choice. I love the dress and the very over. I feel like at this point, I could be wrong. Like at one point, it was like Jungle Boy was the more popular act. I feel like Luchasaurus is becoming way more popular than Jungle Boy, but they're still like very solid tag team. And yeah, I actually think that the addition of Christian is weird. He just started. Like he just started like appearing with them, out of the blue. So okay, and I just don't think I just didn't really sort of fit for me. I think the Marco Stunt thing works better, but and I mean, it's cool. Like like Christian's probably that age where he's not going to wrestle every week, so you got to give him something to do. And I don't dislike it. It's just weird. It's but yeah, but. Yeah, they're a really solid tag team and really over. And yeah, I'm surprised they actually beat Red Dragon this week. I thought Red Dragon were winning, but I expect it to happen eventually. But yeah, no, it's really solid for us. They're a great tag team.
Yeah. Well, you can't have 2 title changes on Dynamite.
Yeah,
that's too many to give away for free.
Yeah.
I like Lucha Express, Jungle Express, whatever they're called.
Jurassic Express.
Jurassic Express. I
don't feel like they've been announced as that for ages, but yeah, they're supposed to be.
Yeah, well, at one point, very early on, they were called A Boy and His Dinosaur.
yeah.
There's your fun trivia. 12 points for me. I like them. I feel there's always a small disconnect for me as far as bringing them to the next level, like on my list, because I don't know. There's just something, maybe because they don't, Luchasaurus doesn't really cut promos and whatnot, so they're not my favorite, but they're always fun to watch. They put on good matches here. I like that you obviously have a nice drastic difference between, you got the big guy, you got the smaller, quicker guy here, and they are fun to watch. I'm glad they won the tag titles here. I too thought it might be Red Dragon's week, but now I am thinking it's going to be FTR at the end of the day, walking away with multiple titles.
What do you think about Christian being in the mix?
Yeah, I mean, just what AEW definitely seems to love to do is, it's kind of that mentor role. I don't hate it. It was at first kind of interesting because I was like, oh, they're scrubbing out Marco, poor guy there since day one. But as the company grows bigger and they're able to get these big signings that they probably, Christian was probably not even on their radar. You know what I mean? Because he was a retired WWE guy, and so I don't hate it. You know what I mean? Like, I can definitely see him doing something else, but it makes sense to put him in that kind of mentor role. I think if it was just Jungle Boy, it would make sense, but it's Christian, Jungle Boy, and a dinosaur. That's what always kind of throws it off, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Richie, what's your number 3?
Well, my number 3 is Young Bucks. I don't know if you want to talk
about okay.
Yeah,
that's right, the Young Bucks. Jordan, what was your number 3?
Well, guys, I hope you've been down since day one, because I know I have, and that's the Usos. Your current long-reigning SmackDown Tag Team Champions, looking like they might try to unify them titles and become the Raw and SmackDown Undisputed Tag Team Champions. But, yeah, this is another team, man. You can really see the growth. I wasn't that impressed when they first debuted in both FCW and then even on the main roster. I was like, oh, they're all right, but they have grown into one of the consistently best tag teams here when you need them to test somebody out, whether it's the Bar or the New Day, and the matches we've already talked about here. They had a really good match on Monday, actually, teasing the upcoming potential title match with RK Bro, which I think could be really good. Give those two teams a time. That's gonna be a really good match too. So, Usos just tremendously talented. You know what I mean? And Usos.
Yeah, it's a really solid choice because that's my number 2. I have the Usos at number 2 for all the reasons you said, and it's the longevity. They've been around for how long now? A decade at least.
Shit.
Maybe. Just classic matches, and the way they were able to reinvent themselves from kind of putting their heritage on display to the day one. This is a team that works well as a heel team. They work well as a face team. Highly entertaining in the ring. I feel like we don't talk about their promo skills enough. Like I actually really enjoy.
I was just about to
their
say,
promo
actually,
skills.
I kind of overlooked that, but yeah, they can be fun talkers too.
Yeah, when they're in the ring together, I really enjoy like their back and forth promos. I think they're really good. I think they're really entertaining. And in the ring, I would love to see the tag team titles unified, but I would love to see RK Bro actually be the ones to win that match. But I would be upset if it was the Usos. I think they've been booked really well. As of late, it's a shame that their match with Nakamura and Boogs had to end prematurely, but I think they're still going to be putting on great matches with whoever they get in the ring with. So yeah, that's my number 2. So I like the pick.
I feel like Usos is my number 2, and I feel like we all have the same number 1, but we'll see what. But yeah, I think Usos are fantastic. For all the reasons you mentioned, they're just great cutting promos. They're great in the ring. I think like one of the underrated promos was like a segment that I didn't think was going to be very good, but it ended up being entertaining. So that rap battle with the New Day.
Oh yeah,
They mentioned the sex tape. That's great. I think it was entertaining, and they're just a really solid tag, very solid tag team. I think they're one of the few modern tag teams that could be Hall of Famers one day, definitely. Be interesting to see if they bring up who's their brother on NXT.
Solo Sikoa.
Solo Sikoa. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they kind of bring.
I thought he was gonna. For a second, I thought he was gonna win that North American title on Tuesday, and then come up to the main roster and like continue the whole like we own fucking everything kind of story.
I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate Solo being in the Bloodline. I think he's pretty good as well. So.
He looks like him too. It looks like if you were to be like, hey, look, Jay put on a little weight and dyed his hair blonde, you'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
Why haven't they added Tamina to the Bloodline yet? Come on.
She's not as talented. I don't know. Maybe she's just busy with Kira.
Yeah.
Do a wedding next week, man. Double wedding, baby.
Ooh.
That is definitely a storyline going on. I don't know what to make of it. But the Usos are fantastic, and I didn't when they started to now, I didn't think they would become one of the better tag teams. Potentially they could in a few years they could make an all-time list. They're that great. So yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've all revealed our 5 through 2s.
Yeah, and I feel like we all have the same.
I feel like we all have the same number 1.
Okay, you want to do it on 3?
I mean, yeah, we have to. Jordan's looking at me like maybe we don't, but I feel like we do. Like it's got to be the obvious choice.
On 3.
1, 2, 3. FTR.
Y'all sleeping on Max Caster, boy. No, but actually, now that I think about it, I kind of wanted to put claim to number 5.
Yeah, I should have. I could have.
Yeah. Yo, listen.
Yo.
Speaking of, they were part of that segment with Danhausen and Regal from the AEW show the other night. So
Christian, you were better when you had an edge.
that was one of his best raps. That one.
Local
Yeah.
sports reference, but I also agree FTR, by the way.
Oh yeah, this is another solid choice. This could easily
I
make the
love
top five,
them.
but
If they had won the titles, they might have eaten in my 5. I just feel like they haven't gone full bore with them yet. Like if this was NXT era, Ring of Honor era, 100%.
oh
But
yeah,
I
for
just feel
sure.
like AEW hasn't really like sucked into them quite yet. Like O'Reilly has so
Mhm.
much more to give, and them as a tag team. So I do love them though.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we all made the obvious choice of FTR at number one, and even though I've only seen highlights of it, I think that match with the Briscoes just solidified that they are like the greatest tag team currently in wrestling.
Yeah, I feel like they're finally getting there. Like, I mean, like I think people always respected them. I started like when they were the revival in NXT, I started like really appreciating them. And then like when a few years ago NXT came here to the Gold Coast, and they were one of the even though he was they were one of the most over acts in the whole show. But yeah, and then their babyface run has still been really good. That they're getting so over. I think that they're a great throwback to tag team wrestling of old, but but they can mesh with modern day style, and they're amazing. And I do think that they're gonna and be like hold 3 tag team titles. I actually think that's where they're going. Because if you have FTR on your roster, you push them to the moon because I think they're a special talent that only comes that only comes onto the generation. Were they teaming before they went to WWE, or was they just thrown together? Or they just put together?
No, that was a new WWE thing. In fact, Scott Dawson, which is now
Dax Harwood.
Harwood. So there's like 3 different names. He was teaming with ever seen the movie Blade?
Yeah.
He was teaming with Whistlers, Chris Christopherson's son, Jody Christopherson, Garrett Dillon. That was his original partner in the FCW NXT days. And then these two found each other. So
yeah, it works so well. Like you wouldn't think they were ever not a tag team.
Yeah, and I think that they're being built up so well that whoever takes the tag team, whichever set of titles from them, it's going to be a surprise, and the team is going to have earned it. It's coming to the point that, like, if they do face Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, like they have to be considered the favorites, even though Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy are the champions. So
Yeah.
they're just being built really well, really, really well. They are top guys for a reason.
And also, I like how they changed their music. I think that it's a good 80s throwback style, and it kind of fits them more, and it's very catchy. Yeah.
This is where you talk, Jordan.
Hey, Jordan. Oh,
there's no fuck you guys. Like you gotta tell me what's the rhyme or reason. You're the host, Jacob. I don't want to step over anybody. When you bitch when I do. Yes, FTR.
Okay, you don't have to shout.
I feel like I do now. You guys are trying to call me on shit that's not my problem. FTR, what a team. No flips, just fists. Am I right, everybody?
Yeah.
But yes, from their NXT days, but again, I feel like we've talked about this already, but from DIY, and everyone, the Raw team, and they had some really good matches even on the main roster here, when they weren't being forgotten about or being put in kind of those comedy skits and whatnot. But the AEW run's been rocky at some points. There's even been times where they're not the main focus, but that's what happens on rosters. Not everyone can be the number one guy or guys all the time here, but when they're able to go, and this is a perfect example, they're able to go here, from having the Briscoes match just a couple days later, having a great match with the Young Bucks. I thought it was the best Young Bucks match I've seen. That's a normal actual match without gimmicks that I've seen in a very long time. And they're entertaining, man, and they're not overly flashy, but they don't need to be. They're so good at what they do, and I'm glad they're finding a home here, and they're kicking a lot of butt, and they're a great tag team, and they're the best thing going right now.
think this is the first time we've agreed on something, all three of us. I like it. We're finally meshing as a team.
Yeah, it take it'll take a couple of episodes, but we're getting there. We're getting the chemistry working. Yeah.
Maybe there is something to not taking 2 months off.
Yes. Let's try to keep this. Yes. What was? Does anyone remember their first tag team name?
The
The
mechanics.
mechanic.
The Mechanics. Yes.
You were trying to stump us. We got it straight away.
I was trying. Welcome to Wrestling with Trivia. Oh, sorry.
yeah, they're sort of greaser kind of dudes.
I mean, straight up, I think Dawson would bring out a damn wrench. Yeah.
Ranch, yeah. Which
Yeah,
is also kind of an 80s throwback when you think about it. Like maybe the new generation era in the 90s, every gimmick was an occupation.
I mean, yeah, that sounds very like kind of gimmicky, typical WWE. Like instead of being, whatever, the Revival, Dawson and Wilder, it's like they're the Mechanics. Like they need a job and a personality. You know what I mean? Like that sounds like why the Mechanics? It just sounds like you have to give them something.
Which is kind of weird. Like they need a job. They need a 9 to 5 when they're not wrestling because we don't pay them enough.
Yeah.
I really like their series of matches with the Bakers. Oh,
the Mechanics and the Bakers.
Mechanics and the Bakers. Oh,
Yeah.
one comes out with a wrench, the other one comes out with donuts.
If Britt Baker was in WWE, that's what they should be doing. Should be just coming out and donuts.
I think they would either that or they'd go very heavy on the dentist thing. Like they'd have her, in a lab coat, like trying to put braces on people. They'd bring back Kane, a manager.
I was about to say, Isaac Yankem would be making appearances.
Yeah, like her entrance scene would just be a drill. Like,
Yeah.
it would be
I mean, that would be on par with Right to Censor as the best theme song of all time.
Yeah.
Man.
They should have brought back Ivory Moore.
I actually think
she was the best part of the Royal Rumble. Let's be honest.
Yeah, no joke. I think they should. I think Ivory's underrated. I think she was very entertaining in that Rumble.
No, it was a lot of fun. That's what I'm saying. They should have done more. They should have brought her back on. And give her a match on like Raw or SmackDown or NXT.
Yeah.
All right, real quick before we go, big championship match tomorrow. Texas Death Match. Adam Cole versus Adam Page. Who you got, Jordan?
You know what? Let's go for the fun answer. Let's go for Adam Cole, baby. They've hinted that CM Punk's going for the title, and I think that's kind of the more logical, juicier match is Punk versus Cole. And I like Page. If he retains it, it's all good. But I wouldn't mind seeing maybe an Adam Page run.
Yeah, Richie.
Yeah, it's interesting that they're doing this on Rampage, but I guess they're trying to bolster the ratings there, and but it should be a great match. I actually have Adam Page because I think like Texas Death Match is his thing, and you kind of want to establish that he's dominant in these matches and have him win. I do think Adam Cole's destined to win the title at some point, but I think maybe once they get that. Maybe Kenny Omega comes back and they get the kind of that dissension sort of going, and then that they're sort of teased that he'll win the title as a babyface. So but at the moment I think Adam Page is retaining.
I think Omega's going to be the babyface when he comes back, and not Cole.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they've set up enough dissension there between Red Dragon, Young Bucks, and that. And he still haven't seen that Young Bucks kind of cost him the match with Omega. Like, he didn't interfere. I don't know. I feel like maybe I could see Omega being the babyface, but I think
I think people are gonna want to cheer Omega at first. Yeah, I think Omega's gonna be the face at first, and it's gonna be Cole and Red Dragon as the face and as the heels, and do that 6-man tag, and they can do that 6-man tag even while Cole's champ. And that could be another good opponent for Cole is a babyface Omega.
Yeah.
And I think they've been hinting too that maybe Page is turning. You know what I mean? There's that hint of like, oh, who do you want as your partners? And he didn't choose Dark Order. He chose, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. And they've been teasing that like maybe he'll get back together with the Bucks, maybe even. So I think Paige might be. They might do that story of when he loses it, even if it's not tomorrow. When he loses it, that might make him snap.
Well, I think he does lose tomorrow. I think this match just is built for Cole to win because Red Fish No Rayleigh can get involved.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
And we've seen the Dark Order not come down to help Adam Page before, so I don't know. I think they're doing it on Rampage. I think we're in for a surprise. Maybe
don't end the show. I'll be back in 1 minute.
Maybe SmackDown will get wind of the results and spoil it, and then have everyone jump from SmackDown to Rampage. Even though Rampage is going to be like 2 hours before. That'll put some butts in seats. Adam Cole will put some butts in seats. I think it's Adam Cole's time. I haven't been too impressed with Page's run as champion personally. So maybe it's just a personal pick that I want Cole to win because I've been a fan of his for quite some time now. I'm not as high on Page as I am Cole, so that might play into it.
I think maybe Page, maybe a heel turn for Page is sort of welcome because I think he may have cooled off a bit since he had that great, one of the best storylines in AEW with the great build up with Omega, and he finally won. Then they sort of like haven't capitalized on that really well. It's like, what's his first title match going to be? Oh, it's going to be gives Lance Archer. I don't know. It's just sort of like they didn't really know what to do with him outside of the Kenny Omega storyline. So maybe like having Adam Cole win and then maybe him going in a different direction will be better for his character long term. Because I feel like I was getting a sense of it, but maybe wrong that like he was almost sort of I could see him if the title run kept going that he might get he might sort of be getting some blowback. Like I did hear there's been a couple of times where Adam Page has come out and I've heard a smattering of boos. I don't know if it's going to be like a Cody situation, but yeah, like I feel like people crowd will let you know if they're getting over certain booking, and like that, like I feel like that Sammy Guevara's having that issue now. The thing with Kai Conti's not, it's kind of a bit more cringe than usual, but you look like you're in the odd. I mean, I know it's Dark Order, but it looks like you also look like you got a Golga thing going on.
Wait, what did you just say, you son of a bitch?
You're gonna call it. You need if you're gonna Eric Carmen shirt there.
It's a nice button-down pink shirt, and you're gonna make the fat joke, really, Richie?
No, I'm just saying. Anyway,
how often did Golga wear a button-down pink shirt? Not often.
I don't know. Like,
how
he might
dare
have
you?
Only when he had to make professional appearances.
Sorry. Evil. No, you're evil Uno, and it's great.
I hate you, Richie.
More like swell Uno. Am I right?
No. You guys ruined the fun.
Tweener Uno.
But you're the swell guy.
Sad Uno.
Well, I hate to end the show on a sad note, but I guess we're gonna do it now.
I actually do have an evil Uno mouse as well, so I can't really.
I'll get one, and our next show, when all three of us have them,
Lonely Unos.
We'll be the lonely Unos.
Like and subscribe, please. It's all we have.
Yes. But come back next Thursday and find out one of us is bound to be right about the match because we didn't all pick Adam Cole. So Jordan and I are probably going to be right.
Okay. Yeah, that's just Well, we'll just wait and see, shall we? Don't count your chickens before they hatch or something.
But yeah, be sure to check us out everywhere else too. Jordan's got his stuff, the Pierce Co. Right? Am I saying that right? Pierce Co.
Yes,
Movie
the
trivia
Pierce
show
Co.
about shows.
The Pierce Company. We do movie trivia. We do a podcast. We're about to reach 100 episodes on that podcast pretty soon.
Whoa, I've been on one of those.
You have been, and we'll bring it back. We'll bring both of you back. Probably not Richie, but we'll bring it back.
Who's both of you be? If you don't understand me.
Well, no, because I'm not Jordan. I'm Evil Luno, so I'll bring Jordan back, and we'll bring Jacob back. And
thought you were making a fat joke.
But yes, and then the Pierce Wrestling Channel, wrestling trivia, exclusive wrestling matches, a podcast. Richie's banned from that channel as well, and Real Pro Wrestling.
Did you run that by Jordan first?
Yeah, we talked.
Okay.
Friday, May 27th. Maybe I'll be there. Maybe I won't be.
You talked to Jordan within the 30 seconds of me making a Golgo joke.
I did. Now he's over here crying.
I wondered what that was. Yeah, and then Richie is not over there anymore, but he's here all the time. On the Movie Hero Network.
On the Movie Hero Network, doing tier ranker, doing tournament fights. Then the next tournament fight I'm doing is, I think it's like a championship round of romantic rom-com movies. So what better person to do that than a guy who's been single for 8 years? That should be fun. Yes, I'm on Jordan Dole's channel and I'm not making, not making Golgo jokes. I think should be there on there tomorrow, or tonight, or whatever. I don't know what time it is there. Tomorrow here. But yeah, and I sometimes do well. Oftentimes I'm very middling, but it should be fun. And yeah, catch me around here next week talking whatever we're going to talk about. Yeah.
Yep, and you can catch Richie losing to Brian Nussbaum.
Is he on the next one? Jordan?
What? Yeah.
Okay.
And you can catch me right here, one of the lonely marks, every Thursday, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, whatever we decide. Sometimes we have better communication. You can also catch me with Austin Howell, a podcast about movies. Maybe eventually we'll come up with a cool name for our show as well. But as of now, it's
the
just
Lonely
a podcast.
Cinemarks.
Maybe. Maybe actually, yeah. Catch us tomorrow because there is no tournament fight or tier ranker fight tomorrow, so we decided to go Friday night. We will be talking about the Razzies and some of the decisions they've made that we don't agree with. So the Razzies got it wrong. We'll be talking about that tomorrow. And yeah, tournament fights, tier ranker fights, check all those out. Eventually, I will be doing a tournament fights of my top 128, and so that's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to do that. Jordan lied to us. He was under the mask the whole time. Oh my goodness. I can't believe he was under the mask the whole time.
It was me the whole time.